Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 9, Episode 5, and today we're back, as promised, for what is probably an early title decider. It looks like us and Watford are running away with the championship. We're well clear of third place and that playoff route behind it. And today, with just 2 points separating us in the championship, we go head to head with the winner taking top spot. There's still 3 months to go in the season, there's still plenty of injuries, a transfer deadline day, lots of things that could go wrong. But otherwise, this could be an early indicator of whether or not we're capable of the title. There's the added twist of Dwight McNeil coming up against his former club, although he has got a knock and is listed as doubtful for Watford today, so we'll wait and see what happens on that front. But otherwise, as you can see, things going very well, and it's going to be a very big game today. After that, as promised, we'll skip ahead a couple of weeks and we'll be back for transfer deadline day just to see if our director of football's got any more magic in the tank. We never know what could happen this month. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be important in the context of this season, and keeping some of our key players is probably the biggest task. But before we go and get into that and have a look at what's happened so far this month, a massive thank you to everyone who continues to follow the series. If you've missed any of the season so far, you can catch up in the eye above. There's a link to episode 1 of this season and the transfer special live stream beforehand. If you're looking forward to this one and a big game at the top of the championship, as well as watching our director of football at work again, please do put a thumbs up on the video. It really does make such a difference. And subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on below to get alerts as daily content releases on the channel. We'll have this series, a one club story with Dorking Wanderers from the same game FM20, and then on Sunday our network career, myself against a co-host, and my football stadium review series too. I really have appreciated the support with the new content on the channel, and hope you continue to enjoy it all. But let's go and have a look at what's happened in the transfer window so far. And the big news really is that big offers are getting rejected. So we're starting to get some for Callum Bonner, one of the youngsters. But the big one really was Rob Simpson. The centre-half, a £17.5 million bid from Watford. And to be honest, if we'd sold him there, I would have been furious. No problem if it's a big Premier League club, if it's massive money. But for a mediocre fee against the club we're going up against to win the championship, absolutely no chance. So Neil Dewsnip, well done for rejecting that. And may you continue to do so. In terms of our transfer history, nothing's really happened too much this month. One player's gone out on loan, Jamey Higgins to Bristol Rovers for the season. A good young striker, but he can't finish, and that doesn't really sit well with me. But there is one player coming in as well. Another one as these director of football cheap young deals, head of youth development either, Jonathan Pepper. 175 grand for Oscar Lancaster. 20 years of age, versatile midfielder, decent potential, but he isn't close to reaching it at the moment. So he's going to be in the under-23s, and we'll wait and see if he develops as the season goes on. But aside from that, we're looking forward to the last 2 weeks of the window. And to be honest, I'm not really looking for signings. There is a little bit of money in the kitty, as you can see. Plenty of wage budget as well, so maybe a loan face coming in. But we're not desperate for signings. So the main task for us, for Neil, is to keep our key players. And we just have to cross our fingers that he can do that. But if we go and have a look at our few results off camera, you can see that things have gone okay. But we did lose pretty embarrassingly in the FA Cup. A home to AFC Wimbledon, a 3-2 defeat. We nearly came back from 3 down. Leon Lowry, the youngster, got a goal. Conor Gallagher scored a screamer late on too. But we were awful. I mean, absolutely awful. Luakima made his first start after coming back from his loan spell in the MLS. But otherwise, I mean, it was a terrible performance. So we're out the FA Cup. We beat Sheffield Wednesday in the league though, bounced back immediately. Sunday Balogun back amongst the goals late on after Orellana and Eric Palmer-Brown had got one each. And the same result at home to Pompey as well. Balogun with a penalty, Palmer-Brown again, but this time Rob Simpson finishing it off. Orellana picks up a knock and there's a couple of others with injuries today. But otherwise we look in pretty good shape. So we've just got to try and keep this league unbeaten run going. Now stretches to 8 games in the league. But obviously that FA Cup defeat really was a sickener. And it means we're a little bit behind on one of the expectations. Because we failed in that one, we didn't get to the 4th round, we now have to win promotion. It is essential that we go up this year, and we've got to make sure that we get a good result today. Finally, I will show you the youth intake preview, because that's of course a big part of this series as well, particularly with this Burnley side at the moment. And the most important news here from Jonathan Pepper, this is an excellent group of players coming through. So last year, Callum Bonner was there. He was wonderful. When we joined the club, there were already 4 or 5, many of whom are featuring at the club. So Summerskill and Simpson came through a few years back, as did Owen Edmonds. And then we've got the likes of Lowry and May and Vaughan there now. Most of them didn't come through Burnley from a young age. They were signed at sort of 15, 16, nabbed off a lower league team. And we're paying off little fees for most of them at the moment. But it is a small price to pay if your youth recruitment's good. It bodes well for the club, and it certainly is here with Burnley. So we're on our way to the Premier League. We've got a good youth intake to expect again. And we've got a massive game coming up against Watford today before the transfer window closes. So let's go and get into this game, see if we can keep our unbeaten run going, and then we'll skip ahead to the end of January and that big day at the end of the window. So look at the favourites. It's Watford. Just about favourites. Better head-to-head record. Few injuries, but we have 2. We know that Cobbort's out long term. That happened in the last episode. Monchu's still out after a little knock. And Vicarage Road not really packed today either. Lowry's out. Glenn Stevens out. Both of those were little knocks too. Orellana has made it. And Jamey Higgins is gradually getting back to fitness. But our 11 for today in full is Summerskill in goal. Furlong and Wardley the fullbacks with Palmer, Brown and Simpson centre-halves. Higgins and Edmonds on the wing with Garcia and Orellana in centre-mid. And then Villalba behind Balogun up front, who as we've seen has just got back to scoring ways. On the bench, we've got a tired Andy May and Jack Vaughan as we've run out of first-team options. And I misjudged the Wednesday midweek game in the Under-23 League. But there's still some game changers there, the likes of Damari Gray and Dujon Sterling. And hopefully they won't need to be called upon today. What I'd like is to be 1 or 2-0 up and having to make the defensive changes. I mean, what would be better is if we were 4 or 5 up, but let's be realistic. So into the game we go. It's going to be a big one, and it's probably going to shape the rest of this January. 4-2-3-1 for Watford. Still a lot of the stars there. Interestingly, the animation of the ground doesn't have all the Elton John lyrics round. Vicarage Road, a ground I visited this year to watch Tranmere in the FA Cup. You can see a link to a matchday vlog there in the eye above. Compare it to the real thing. But a 4-2-3-1 for Watford. Some good regens, some that we've come across in our career already. Lafont in goal's a real player, he's brilliant. Dean Garner, a West Brom player at present on loan from West Ham, I think it is. Malatieri in the number 10, we mentioned him earlier this season. We had him in FM19 at Newcastle, made a big profit despite barely playing him. And it looks like we're going to be up for a tough test today. But let's go and get into it. Ask the lads to pick up where they left off. They've been in brilliant form in the league. And we just need them to get at least a point today. A draw would be a brilliant result, and it would certainly keep us on track for promotion. Nearly 20 on the clock, and we're back for our first highlight as Furlong throws it in on the right. He's worked his way back to Orellana. He's scored some screamers already, and he keeps hold of it despite a challenge there. Finds Furlong again. Orellana, Villalba. Chance to play in Edmonds. Got to score. Oh, no, he's missed a sitter. I mean, it's a great save, Lafont, but you've just got to think he has to score there. Either side, it was definitely in, but it remains 0-0 as Simpson loses the header from the corner. Back to Balogun on the byline, though. Back to Villalba. He's got to score again. Oh, straight at Lafont. We have missed 2 unbelievable chances there. How on earth are we not in a lead? I do not know. An incredible 2 chances, both of them wasted. And I'm wondering where my highlights have gone, because I normally have the scores down in the bottom right. So let me do that as we're on the attack again. It's looking good with Manu Garcia, and now Orellana in the middle. I'm otherwise distracted, but Edmonds has switched it, and now we turn back to the attack as Balogun's in! And we know he makes no mistake. A clinical striker with a clinical finish. And Burnley lead at Vicarage Road 1-0, and they're taking the title race away from Watford at the minute. The half-time whistle goes, no further action. What a fantastic performance by the boys. 1-0 up, Watford have barely had a threat. We're going to ask the lads to do it for the fans. We don't often disagree with the assistant. And let's get into the second half and see if we can repeat this performance. Already 1 substitution made by the home side. They've clearly got the more to do to get back in it. And as it stands, we're 11 points clear of third. And more importantly, 5 points clear of Watford in the title race now. Trophies are big in this career. We said it didn't matter as much this year as reaching the Premier League's the big one. But my word, if we can get a trophy, what a title it is to put on our CV. Manu Garcia's got the ball in the middle again, as we've started the second half in very much the same vein. I'm sure we'll work it out to the left here as Edmonds comes forward down the line. There's 1 in the box, but 2 coming up. Higgins is there. Oh, it's hit the post. The defender was sliding in to try and block the shot, and it hit him after it cannoned off the woodwork. But luckily it bobbled the wrong side of the post for a corner, which Balogun will take in. Lafont claims easily, and without him, it could well have been 3 or 4 here. But as I say that, Watford back at the other end with a corner. Into the front post, headed over the bar. Malatieri nearly coming back to haunt us, but with an hour gone it's still 1-0 Burnley. Watford not really putting pressure on as well, so we're able to play out from the back pretty nicely, and this time Simpson hoofs it long but doesn't really find anyone. It allows Watford to put pressure back on down the left with Apaya. He's taking on the fullback and he seems to be doing quite nicely there, but Orellana helping out. Brilliant work from the centre midfielder. Can he get rid of it? He goes back to Summerskill. Not quite out of the woods yet. I never really trust us at the back. I know it's the style I like to play, and I know it's certainly the way forward for us as we go up, but it's always that nervy moment when the keeper's got it. Edmonds has lost the ball on the left, but Orellana slides into him back, and Higgins is charging down the right. Doesn't look fit, hasn't played well since he's come back, but we're trying to get him 60 or 70 every game. Orellana back to Higgins. Here's his chance though, to the byline in the 6-yard box. Was greedy, tried to shoot, and it was an acute angle. He was never really going to score there. But 20 minutes to go, it's been a brilliant performance. Higgins will be replaced by Damari Gray. Manu Garcia's not been great. Alan Campbell will come on for him as a ball-winning midfielder on support. And we'll leave the last one 5 more minutes, just in case we need to shore things up. Well, we're just over 10 to go now, and it has been a remarkable display. Still no threat really from Watford. We've got Andy Made a youngster, Jack Vaughan there as well. But I don't really want to take chances at this point. Normally I'd do Stevens for Villalba. But you know what? I think I'm going to leave the last sub for now. There is no need for us to do it when there's no real benefit to be had. So as it stands, we'll go into the last 5. No real changes to be made tactically. And we're now into how many minutes of stoppage time? Just 3. So this is the time we make our change. Jack Vaughan I think will come on. Maybe Craig Robinson. Who's the best man to bring on there? I'm trying to bring on someone for Villalba just to see out the seconds. And they're suggesting Craig Robinson. So he'll come on. Not great in that position, but it's 2 minutes. On comes Robinson, and it's time for us to go time wasting. What a classic Champions performance this would be. A 1-0 win on the road against the big promotion rivals. It is the performance of champions, one of those classics. We've just got to hold on these 2 minutes, and we're going to time waste through the final seconds. We've done it. It's a 1-0 victory. Vicarage Road is shocked as it finishes Watford 0, Burnley 1. A fantastic result, surely a massive moment in a title race. A brilliant performance, we'll praise the lads. And let's see what that means for the table with the other results. Well, the media have nailed it for once. A vintage display, 9 unbeaten in the league, and that FA Cup defeat, just a small blot. We're focusing on the league. And due to other results, Birmingham lost in the end to Southampton, which puts both of them on 49 points alongside Charlton, Millwall and Brentford. What a playoff chase that is. But most importantly, that means we are 12 clear of 3rd place. Surely promotion's going to be on the cards now. If anyone's going to stop us, it looks like Charlton or Southampton. But hopefully that won't be the case. 5 points clear of Watford now, so the title race swings in our favour. And after getting to the top, we're looking consistent. And we'll try and continue that through the rest of January. So as promised, we're going to go and play the next 2 games off camera. And we'll be back in a moment for January's transfer deadline day. Can Neil Dusnip produce any magic? Or will we have to suffer a crucial key loss? We're back, it's transfer deadline day, and it looks like there's going to be a hive of activity at Burnley today. Mainly going out of the club, there's not a great deal of news and speculation on ins, but things are looking like they're going to be moving quickly. Let me very quickly show you the results off camera. We're top of the league still, we've continued our excellent form. A 3-0 win away at Millwall, Edmonds with a goal and Sunday Balogun with a brace. Although Watford got back to emphatic ways with a 5-0 victory against Wigan the same night. And then we hit Middlesbrough 1-0, a classic championship performance. And it was Owen Edmonds who got the winner. Not sure how Watford did in that one, they must have won. They did, 1-0 at Southampton. So it's very much a 2-horse race at the top. And things are starting to spread out in the playoffs a bit too. But we're into transfer deadline day. Just to give you a sneak peek, here are some of the outs being discussed. There are loads of them potentially going out on loan. Nothing on the ins except for one player from Frankfurt, a right winger which will meet if it comes to it. But let's go and skip ahead through transfer deadline day. We'll take part and see if there's going to be any action. Neil Dusnip, over to you. Wow, I don't know where to start with this one. We have got loads of loans confirmed going out. We've done a press conference, nothing else particularly exciting. Interestingly, in the 2 weeks we were off, we did have our first Premier League job interview offer. That was from Stoke City, who were in the relegation zone. And to be honest, it wasn't going to be a great deal more than we could do. And we've got a better squad and lots of young players. So I'm determined to see this job through with Burnley unless we get a massive offer from an established side at the top level. But let's go and have a look at these loans out. Young Steve Hayes gone to Grimsby in League 2. a good fullback, and I'm a bit surprised he's been loaned out actually, because we're missing Cobalt for 3 to 4 months. So that leaves us with one left back if I make it right, but the director of football knows best. He's not done us wrong so far, so we'll trust him with that. Lancaster, the January signing, he's gone to Queen of the South. That's where he came from anyway, so that makes perfect sense. McCready's gone to Bristol Rovers. He's a youngster I haven't heard of. He's not great, not going to be good enough. That makes sense, that's fine. Luakima, the backup right back, came back from the MLS. Now he's gone to Galatasaray. They're paying all of his 11 grand a week. And to be honest, he was third choice right back here. And even the fourth choice Bonner, we were trying to play ahead just because he was a homegrown prospect. He's training really well, so he's immediately going to take his place. And Luakima's gone off to Turkey. No problem with that one at all. And we've had an offer for Dimitru, which Neil Dusnip has accepted. The centre-half is developing well in training, and I guess football's the next thing he needs. So at 20, having played for a former club Ketter in an inland league, he will now go to Port Vale, who I presume are in League 2. So it could be a nice step up for him, and we'll wait to see how the day unfolds. It's 9 o'clock, there's 14 hours to go, still plenty of time for action yet. Another hour and a half goes by, no news on the signing in, but Dimitru has joined Port Vale of League 2. Who else is it asking about? Rod Coleman. We're not intending on selling him. He's a good young player and he's our first choice backup at centre-half. But a good day so far. Lots of youngsters going out on loan and a sign-in. But first, we've got to worry about this offer. Hopefully Neil's not accepted it. He rejects an offer of 2.7 million, rising to over 5 for Callum Bonner. Proper good youngster, this kid. He's developed so quickly this season. His personality's good. I mean, everything's going well. He just made his championship debut against Middlesbrough. And there'll be a few more of them to come as Darnell Furlong's picked up a 4-week injury. So we'd like to keep him involved in the squad and hopefully he'll be staying with us after this month. But we've got a sign-in and it's a quite big one by the looks of it. Ferran Torres from Eintracht Frankfurt. £3.4 million. Again, he's managed to convince the old club to pay a bit of the wages. 26 grand a week he's on. Almost like a late replacement for a Tavares maybe. Over on the right wing, we have got Sterling. We've got Lowry, who keeps deputising out there. Young Jack Vaughan. We've also got Jamey Higgins, who's been a bit injury prone. So I can sort of see why he's gone for one. But I wouldn't have said it was necessary. But let's have a look at the player before we judge. 3-star ability, 3.5 potential. Let's get him on a language course. Let's get him registered in the squad. He's a foreign signing, which of course with the new changes since we've left the EU, the Brexiting game, that's an important part of this squad. We're going to ask Manu Garcia to welcome him, which he's more than happy to do. And let's go and take a look at his report and his stats. So his report has him as the best attacking right winger and the best right midfielder ahead of Jamey Higgins. So this could be a big signing for us. Who else is up there? John Underwood, the assistant manager. He ranks them pretty evenly as well. So let's go and see what his stats are like. He's quick. He's good physically, good mentally, resolute personality, hugs the touchline, and he's good technically in the key areas. What a good signing that is. Already worth double what we paid for him. And another one of the special finds from Dusnip. Another Spaniard coming in. He's played in Germany, he's played in Spain and got a lot of experience at the top level. I think that's a fabulous signing. So yet again, all we've got is praise for our director of football. And if that's the only deal of deadline day and the only first team deal of January, it'll be a very healthy addition to our promotion charge. Well, we've got another offer, and another accepted offer by the looks of things. I'm interested to see what position this is. There's also another offer for Bonner, so we're going to look at that first and just pray it's been rejected. It has. Not even as much as the Villa one. That's bizarre. But either way, it's been rejected, so that's all we can ask of the director of football. But who's he trying to bring in? He's made an offer for Smith. Gavin Smith from Celtic on loan. 3-star ability, 3.5 potential. 66 grand, so maybe just someone to fill the squad. An attacking midfielder. Glenn Stevens has struggled a lot with injury. Makes sense, and to be honest, if we can get a squad player on loan for a relatively low cost, I'm probably not going to complain about it. But so good to see a proactive director of football. Getting players in just in case. Not ones that we need, ones that we want. Targeting key areas. He knows what he wants and he gets it. I've never been happier with the director of football in all my years playing this save. Conor Gallagher's injured, only 1 to 2 days, not a problem there. And Smith has joined the club. Gavin Smith from Celtic. Let's have a look at him, shall we? We're going to register him in the squad. He's got a little knock at the moment, but he'll be back tomorrow, so that's okay. And is it with a view to signing him? There's no future sell-on clause. But a natural in the number 10 role, a good left winger, and a decent central midfielder. I mean, he just looks like a solid squad player. So what are his stats like? Not bad. Not bad, actually. Mentally very good, fairly professional, likes playing with the ball through the middle. I guess sort of a Jack Wilshere mould, you might say. Probably now rather than pre-injuries, because he's not quite that good. But he's played over 100 league games for Celtic. He's played 30 for Dundee United. Got loads of experience north of the border. And a really good backup player for the bench if needed. Plenty of pace, plenty of fitness, plenty of flair. Just a good player. No problems at all. Happy days with that signing. Are we interested in Nicholas Vega? Who else is he looking at then? Oh, wow. Yes. I'd love to make him part of the squad. We're trying to tempt Neil Dewsnip. He's obviously found this kid because otherwise it wouldn't have come up as a media report. But if he gets him in, it will make this signing completely redundant of Smith. But it will also make for a very happy end to the season. So fingers crossed he'll be the next offer. Well, there's only so far media news can get you. It doesn't look like that's going to get an offer. It did upset Jamey Higgins, the right winger, who doesn't play the same position. Not quite sure about that. Another offer rejected for Callum Bonner, the right back. Another one from West Brom that's gone missing. But it looks like it's going to peter out deadline day. There's now just over an hour to go. We're doing well in the under-23s. A lot of players getting fitness back. But I mean, the main thing is just rejecting offers for Callum Bonner. West Brom and Leeds going up to around 8 million now. They've all been rejected. They've all been rejected on behalf of the management by the Director of Football. So we're happy with that. Things going well. Just an hour and 15 minutes remaining. That's it then. The transfer window is closed. It's been a pretty quiet day, or a quiet afternoon I should say. A hive of activity in the morning. Lots of players going out on loan. A couple of good squad signings too. But the afternoon's been quiet as Neil's done his work early again. A fantastic Director of Football. Probably my favourite ever on the channel. Probably my favourite ever doing this series. If we look at the wage expenditure, it shows how well we're doing. Watford's is second. They're up there in second place. We are 11th. And we're top of the league with that. That's incredible. Half the wage bill of Brighton. And we're absolutely flying at the top. So it shows how well we're doing. It shows how well we're recruiting. And Neil Dewsnip has to take all the credit for that. As does Jonathan Pepper alongside him. But they're the deals. Look at Watford. 33.5 million they've spent on a centre-half. He's a very decent one. But is he any better than the likes of Rod Coleman, who we got in for 5 or 6? I don't think he is. They've signed a striker for 16 million. Is he any better than Sunday Balogun, who joined Burnley just before us for 3? I don't think he is. I mean, Burnley's recruitment is on a different level to this club. And that's why we're going to do so well here. So a brilliant transfer deadline day. I'll just very quickly confirm the window for you. In terms of ins, it was Ferran Torres, the right winger from Eintracht Frankfurt. A natural first choice, will probably rotate with Higgins. And any other signing on deadline day was Gavin Smith, a good squad player on loan from Celtic. He'll fill the bench a few times. Probably won't feature too much. We'll prioritise the youngsters if we get early promotion. No permanent outs, but lots of loan players. Howes, Millet, Hay, the youngster, one that we've got to keep an eye on. Dimitru, who signed in the summer. And then McCready and Luakim are the backup right back as well. So plenty of outs. Probably left back the only area I'm slightly concerned. Just one player left while Cobalt's injured. But of course, Callum Bonner can cover over there. Eric Palmer-Brown the same. So it's hardly a disaster if things go wrong there. But otherwise, a brilliant transfer window, a brilliant result in the league. Our first victory on camera this season. They were all draws before that. And it was a victory against second place Watford to cement our place at the top of the table. We go into the final third of the season, 5 clear of second, 12 clear of third, and surely on course for promotion to the Premier League. So it looks like season 10 could be our first at an elite level. Slightly longer than it took last year. But of course, we didn't have a championship club sacking us in that one. Still had sackings, but not quite at the same point, and it really do seem to have pulled us back a couple of years here. But we've now got a good squad, and I'd feel confident with keeping hold of these key players that we'll both go up as champions and we'll be able to stay up next season. So if you want to stay along and find out if we can, please do subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on for daily FM20 content alerts. This one will be back on Tuesday for another week of the series, and we will come back about halfway between now and the end of the season. No FA Cup to worry about, just the league. So we'll probably come back for Birmingham. They're a side up there in 4th place. That'll be a good one to come back for. And then we'll go into the run-in and see how things progress as we move along. We've got our 2 former championship clubs back-to-back at the start of April. So possibly an episode waiting to happen there. And then Brighton, the big spenders of the league on the final day of the season. And hopefully we'll be celebrating the title then. But if you are looking forward to that and you did enjoy this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. A brilliant performance at Watford, a proper Champions performance, and Neil Dusnip strikes again on deadline day. Let me know in the comments what you think of his work, because I'm just blown away by how efficient he is. I've never seen anything like it from a director of football in this save. They're generally useless, which is what makes this so challenging. It's why we've had sackings every year. So we'll be keeping hold of Burnley as long as possible, because Neil Dusnip is certainly the man. If you haven't already, please try my other content on the channel in the eye above. There's a link to the live stream and the rest of this season so far, as well as my FM20 story with Dorking Wanderers, my network career with a co-host, and my stadium review series where we talk about the real footballing world. Thank you very much for everyone supporting the new content on the channel. I really do appreciate it greatly. And hopefully I'll see you next time for another big game as we look to wrap up promotion to the Premier League.